Hello all, I am Jairam. In a series of providing video sessions on C programming language, in this session I am going to discuss about what is meant by preprocessing and what are the different types of preprocessor and what are the preprocessor operators are there. So these are the different topics I have going to discuss in this session. If you want my previous session, please subscribe my channel Jairam Tulapati. As I have discussed in my last session, topics are there different types of input output function and what is meant by typecasting. So these are the concepts I had discussed in my previous session. So if you want that sessions, please subscribe my channel Jairam Tulapati and like my videos. Now in this session I am going to discuss about preprocessing. What is meant by preprocessor? So let's start the session. So preprocessing, that means the name itself indicates that the pre-processing, so it instructs the compiler to do some type of job before processing, that is called pre-processing. So let's understand this definition. I have written here the preprocessor is not part of compiler, and that means here the preprocessing is not a part of compilation, but it does the compiler to do some processing before compilation. That is called preprocessing. Here we have the preprocessing is often written as CPP, that means compiler preprocessing, that is also written as CPP. Next, here it submits the C processor maybe in a text submission tool. That means here that compilation, that submission process, that the pre-submission process may be a text substitution tool, and it instructs the compiler to do required pre-processing before the actual compilation. So it does the compiler before do some type of text substitution and before the actual processing came into existence. Next, here these are the different types of directives, that means all the preprocessor commands we often use in the C programming language. So first of all, let's define each one by one. Here I am explaining each one by one. First one is the hash define. What this try to tell us substitute a preprocessor macro. By using this hash define, we can define a preprocessor macro. Macro means single set of instructions, and we can enlarge it. We can expand it depending on our use. Macro means single set of instructions that tells a group, that indicates a group purpose. That's why here as define include, we can define a new type of preprocessor. Hash include. What is meant by hash include? By using this hash include, we include a particular header from another file. That means I am including but a particular type of header file from another file to this file, or another program to this program. Next, undefinition. That means I have not given definition for particular macro. I haven't given any definition for it. That's why it is called undefined. Next one is the if definition. That means the preprocessor, the compiler returns true if the definition for that macro is given or not. If the definition for that macro is given, it returns true, otherwise it returns false. Why? Because here I am checking the condition, if condition. That means if the definition for the macro is given or not. If given, it returns true, otherwise it is false. Next, if n definition, that means returns true if macro is not defined. Here n specifies not defined, that means that macro is not defined. Next, returns true if the macro is defined or not. Here returns true if the macro is not defined. Why? Because here n is specified after the if statement, that's why it is if n definition. Next one is the if statement. Test if a compilation time for the condition written in the program is true or not. We check the condition at the compile time. That is called if statement, if directive. Next one is the else directive. It is the alternate for if statement. Next one is the else if directive. This is the else if, that means else and if in one statement. Next one is the end if statement. That means we can end that if statement and the preprocessor condition of the if. Next one is the error. That means this specifies whether the standard error. That means the error message, standard error message on the output string. Next one is the pragma. By using this, issue special commands to the compiler using a standardized method. So these are the different types of directives or different types of preprocessor are available in C programming language. Directives. These are different types of directives. So next, here I have written some type of preprocessor example. Let's understand each one by one. First one is the hash defined max array length 20. Here I am defining what I am defining, max array length 20. Max array length 20. I am defining with this preprocessor directive. The hash defined directive defines the max array length with a size of 20. So as soon as in the program, while writing the program, whether a compile occurs, when the compiler encounters any instance of max array length 20, then it replaces all the max array length instances with the value 20. Why? Because I am defining max array length as 20. That's why all the instances of max array 20 with 20 use. Because why all these directives means all these pre-processing directives included in the C program language, it increases the readability of the program. Increases the readability of the program. That's why these are the very important, and these are the very usable for the programmer to different types of macros into his program. Next example. Here I am including the header files into my program. First one is the stdio.h. Here I have written the stdio.h in less than greater than. This is called standard input header file. Here I am including here the less than greater than symbols defined. This header file is from the system defined. That means system libraries. That means this include header file is from the system libraries. Suppose user want to include his own header file, then this is the way he include the user defined header files into his program. By using this hash include keyword and my header.h, here I have included this header file in double quotes. This double quote specifies the user defined header file. Next one. See the next example. Here I have undefined the file size. That means I haven't given any definition for that file size. In the next step, I have defined that file as 42. Why? Because it tests the preprocessor. That is, in first definition, if the file size is given, take in that file. If not, don't take. That means if the definition for the particular file size is given, take that file size. If the definition for that file size is not given, then don't take that definition. That tests the compiler. Next. That's why here CPP take in the above example. That's why here TPP take file size 42 and enter this value onto the output screen. Next example. Here if and definition message. That means here if and end if statement. Why here I am using the if and end if statement here. If the message is defined correctly, then define that message, then display that message onto output screen. That's why here I am using the condition. If and definition, and here I am putting the condition called hash and if. Here hash and if defines the loop exit of the if statement. Exit of the defined definition. Define direct true. Here I am checking the condition first. Why? Because here if the message is not included, that means if the message is not defined, then simply print that message. If the message is not defined, simply print it. Otherwise, and take the input from the user and print that message on the output screen. Here I have written a line. Let's understand this line. It does the CPP. Here it does the CPP. CPP means compiler preprocessor. It does the CPP to define the message only if the message is already defined. That means define message only. If the compiler hasn't defined any message, then use this message. Then use this as defined directory I am using. I am just printing that message onto output screen. Next example. Here if definition. That means here I am defining if definition. That means if I am defining debug, that means debugging. Your debug statements are erased here. If definition and if summary. If definition it specifies it tells the CPP, to process the statements, enclosed if debug is defined. That means particular statement, if the definition for the debug statements are given, then execute those statements, otherwise execute that not, otherwise don't execute them. Here I have given definition clearly for the statement, that's why here executed. If the definition for the here the if def data tells, if the definition for the debug are defined, then use those statements, otherwise or printed them onto output screen. So these are the different types of example on preprocessor. Next, predefined macro. What is meant by predefined macro? So in C program language we have some predefined macros out there. Those are anti-standard, that means American National Standard Institute has given some predefined macros which are in the C programming language, and those are the date, time, file, line and stdc. These are the macros. What is meant by date? It displays the present date while you write in the program what the date on your computer screen, it displays the date onto output screen, and the date a date is formed in the format of month, date, year format. Next one is the time. The current time as a capital letter in as hour, minutes and second format. Next one, file. File macro. What is meant by file macro? Here the file macro contains number of lines. How many? File name. It taken as file name, and it returns the what is the file name, what the program you are writing, what the program you are in. So this file name simply returns the file name that you are in. Next one is the line. Here line specifies the line number. Here this line specifies how many lines are there in your program. This macro specifies how many lines are there in your program. Next one is the stdc. By using this stdc we can get whether defined program is with the ANSI standard. With the defined program it returns 1 if the defined program is written according to the ANSI standard. This is the way. These are the different types of predefined macros are available in C programming language. So let's see a small example on these predefined macros. Here I have written a small program on predefined macro. Here I have included the two basic standard header files, standard library header file stdio.h and connew.h. And here I have taken a main method of type void type. That means that main method hasn't written anything. Next, here I am just printing. These predefined macros onto my output screen. So first one is the file. Next one is the date. Next one is the time. Next one is the line. What the file? This file specifies the file name. What is the file name? Next one is the date. Here date specifies the present date and time in the format of hour, minutes and seconds. Next one is the line. Here line specifies the line number. That means here it given line number to the number of lines. That means how many lines are there in your program. So it given line numbers to the program one by one, from the starting from the header files to the closure brackets, starting from the header file to end of the program, start of the program to end of the program. It will given line numbers. So as soon as I compile and run the program, I got this output. So you can observe the output on the right side of your program. Here this is file name. This first one specifies the file name. Here my file name is predefined macro.cpp. This is my file name. Next one is the date. Here today's date, September 20, 2017, printed here. Why? Because here I am printing the next printf statement is date. Here I am using the date macro, predefined macro. Next one is the time. That is this time also predefined macro. Here they is printing the time. Next one is the line. Here, now how many number of lines? Here, this line specifies the number of lines in a program. That's why here line number is also printed. So these are the different types of macros and what is meant by macro and what is meant by preprocessor in the C programming language. So these are the concepts. So in this session, I am going to discuss about what are the operators, what are the different types of operators are available in preprocessor. What are the different types of operator? Preprocessor operators are there in C programming language. So I shall discuss this topic in my next session. If you like this session, please like my channel and subscribe my channel for more videos. And thank you and all for watching, and thank you all.